Assalamu alaikum. I'm Sonia Rahman Qureshi and you are watching The First Blast. Today we're covering entrepreneurship in Pakistan. Now there's been a lot of debate about entrepreneurship. There's a lot of discussion about it globally as well on how some big names are making it even bigger. How, you hear of Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, and of course those are the huge icons and the gurus of entrepreneurship. But we're trying to understand what entrepreneurship is, what it entails, and how to be successful at it. So we're going to be looking at academia. How important is it to study courses in entrepreneurship? Is it the same as just doing a normal MBA? Also, we will be talking to some people who are very successful in the industry to find out what steps they took. And what is it about their attitude towards work, their work ethic, that makes them a cut above and successful? Also, another thing that we have to keep in mind before we go on the sneak peek is, we tend to think of entrepreneurs as just those big names. And when you look at Pakistan, every man that owns a shop, a pan ka khoka, women who design clothes and other things from home, small industries, they are all very successful entrepreneurs. Let's go and have a look at the sneak peek, and then please join me again in the studio immediately afterwards.
An entrepreneur is like a mosquito. If there is no opening, they make one.
It's willing to take risk, is a risk taker, willing to take challenges.
What personality traits do you need? What training do you need?
It's a frame of mind that you have to have, that I want to do my own thing.
A, I'm passionately ambitious about a dream. B, it is to make money.
No specific training can be done to make somebody an entrepreneur.
Not everyone comes from a wealthy background.
Yeah.
Not everyone can go up to daddy.
Entrepreneurship on its own is a long and a hard journey.
Okay, I'm in
Deep trouble.
deep trouble.
Yes, trouble.
Yeah, trouble,
Deep
trouble, yes.
trouble. Yes.
Deep trouble.
But
A link between academia and the real world.
Women entrepreneurship, nobody talks about it, nobody has any clue about it.
Awesome.
Good awesome.
Good awesome. Welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for watching us today. We're talking about entrepreneurship, and we've done a lot of shows on how to get a job, how to do the right CV, how to make yourself impressive to your employer. But this is a faction that is really important in business now, and some schools have started these courses. But is it really being focused on, and is it being taught well, and is it being followed properly in the market? So we thought we would have two very capable as well as very fun guests on the show again. We have Farhad Karamally, Navitus.
Thank you for having
And we
me.
have Essa Allawala from QB.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you two, gentlemen?
awesome.
Awesome?
Awesome.
Always awesome. Awesome.
Good awesome.
Good awesome. Okay, what is entrepreneurship?
Okay, I realize I started off last time. I'll get you to start off this time.
Well, as the word is entrepreneur, it's basically entrepreneur. It's a French word.
Yes.
It starts with the word enter, and in something in your new venture you're going to start. That is basically a dictionary definition of entrepreneur. Somebody who would, that basically dictionary defines somebody who is willing to take risk, is a risk taker, willing to take challenges, and can be a very calculating, very gregarious personality. Somebody can actually define if this thing is going to work, this thing is not going to work. Very quickly calculating without any numbers. This is what my definition of an entrepreneur.
Very interesting, because when you use the word entrepreneur is to enter into something.
Yeah.
What the thought that came to my mind, I read this a couple of years back and it was very interesting. He said an entrepreneur is like a mosquito. If there is no opening, they make one.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's a good one, huh? That's a
Very
good one.
insightful as well.
Yeah.
If there is no opening, they make one. So
I
that's
also
basically
people don't
enter.
perceive the other part of that.
The machhar.
thing.
They bite you, you get malaria.
Yeah.
Away from them.
Well, we can touch upon that also.
Or dengue,
Yeah,
God
that's a
forbid.
different subject here.
That's a different subject.
We'll go into the mosquito and the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you become a successful entrepreneur? What are
Okay, you
the
start.
traits you need? What personality traits do you need? What training do you need? What experience do you need?
First and foremost is the kind of attitude you have.
Okay.
And there are a blend of things in this attitude. For example, one thing that I quoted last time, no is a word to be used at your own discretion. Don't take no for an answer. There is a way, because the world may come around and tell you cannot do this, and that is where you really need to have the attitude of yes, I can. And you can only say that if you personally, truly, passionately believe in what your aspirations are. Because most of the time people may not understand what you're out there for. And especially the kind of environment that we're living in today, and I'll just say this in Urdu a little bit, is that when a child is educated and he's ready to work, a big question comes up, which is, should you be an entrepreneur or should you start working in a company? And ज़्यादातर हमारे यहाँ ये कहते हैं कोई कुर्सी टेबल वाला काम कर दो. An entrepreneur may not start off with a kursi table wala kaam, you know, the table chair kaam. So A, you cannot take no for an answer. Second very important trait is networking skills. Amazing networking skills. So even when you're not selling, you're technically thinking how to sell.
And excellent selling skills also, you know.
Excellent selling
always
skills.
Ready to wear the salesman hat. That is also. I agree with Farhad over here, and no specific training can be done to make somebody an entrepreneur. However, I'd like to pose this question to the audience also, to you also, Farhad.
You like doing that. Last time I ended up interviewing people.
Do you need to have the germs? Are they inborn, or an entrepreneur can be created? That's the question we need to ask.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting question, because there are different ways of looking at it. And suffice it to say for the time being, because I do realize that maybe it's not very easy to explain the entire process to everybody, the viewers, because it's not a two-way dialogue. But potential-wise, yes, everybody has the genetics to be an entrepreneur. Okay. Genetically, they do.
No,
it's basically here, kind of environment that we have, and then
yes, but you know, I'm sorry to cut you, but here they seem to have this mindset that, you know, if you come from a business family, a lot of people say that if you come from a business family, you will automatically be good at business. Unme wo jarasim hote hain, you know. But if you come from a salaried sort of family, if you come from a salaried family, they turn around and say, "Nahi, bhai, we can't do this. You know, we can't manage a business with that salary."
You see, when you're born, you're born. I don't know about the jarasim.
Absolutely, Farhad. I agree. When you're born, you are born.
You're born, and then yes, well, obviously you were born at that time. You were thrown at that time. So you were born. You were nurtured in a particular environment, and you had a particular mindset being ingrained into your mind that just because your dad is a businessman, you can be an amazing businessman, but not necessarily. So it's again the kind of nurturing that we've had.
You're saying right now that should not be in your vocabulary, right? And if somebody says that this is not a good idea, this is not whatever, you should just be, forget it, I'll do what I want to. But remember, at the same time, you said somebody came up to you and said, I have a concept for this, which you knew was a useless concept, which has been done before. So how do you know that what you've hit the nail on the head, and what you have is an interesting concept or an interesting service or a niche?
No is a word to be used at your discretion.
That's what he said, I guess.
That's the concept. So if you want to say no, if I accept that yes, it's a no, I should accept that it's a yes, it's a no. And although everything said and done, when I said the attitude must be that of a go-getter, having said this, an entrepreneur is also a very good listener. Understands, evaluates, calculates risk like crazy. If anything, there is this particular book, very interesting book, it's called Breakthrough Company by Keith McFarland. They've done some study based on the attentional and interpersonal skills or some test of that sort.
Of an entrepreneur.
Of an entrepreneur. And they've discovered that they're not very risk-taking the way that we imagine them to be. They are risk-takers, but not the kind that we would imagine them to be, blindly jumping into situations. Very, very calculated, because they realize at the end of the day, if it doesn't happen, it's my life at stake. And there's another very interesting attitude, speaking of the attitude, and this is something that I read somewhere, and to a large extent I've been enjoying practicing it as well. He said, it is better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. You have a dream, don't ask people, would it work? Should I do it? Should I not do it? Jump into it. And most entrepreneurs, another important, I think the personality traits will just keep on evolving.